In the rain, ain't no pain. I seen days dark and
I'm here with Taylor Bennett, obviously just releasing the album Broad Shoulders. First things first, you played a show shortly after Christmas at Lincoln Hall. Second time you sold it out in like 2 years. What was it like playing that show?
That show was crazy, and it did definitely mean a lot to me. This is my first album and not project that I'm putting out, and I say album because we're selling it and we're distributing it for free, and it's 100% sample free, of course. We just put a lot of promotion into it. So, I mean, to have such a great project rollout and to have Rolling Stones, with us the whole way, and Complex and Pigeons and Planes and Vibe Magazine, of course, and so many other greats supporting us, and then to go into a show and then have actual people come out and show you that kind of love, it's awesome.
Right.
It's amazing.
You have a unique challenge, obviously, to define yourself, separating from your brother, but also opportunity, more importantly. In the coming years, you've headlined Reggie's Rock Club multiple times and sold out, and Lincoln Hall as well. You just put out this album. But for those who would just stumble upon you recently, who is Taylor Bennett?
Taylor Bennett is an African-American, south side of Chicago. He's 19. He always believes in doing right, and I would say is a powerful artist and a writer, and he wants to impact people's life in a positive way and shed light to experience, negative or positive, to prevent them from going through situations in life and being able to handle it with a better grasp. I would say that he's a very outspoken person. I would say he's a businessman. I'd say that he's a future mogul. But that's just what
In the song Smile, you say the line, front page terrorists embarrassing our heritage. Coming from a political background, is there anything that you can see done to help change the narrative of Chicago and violence, or are you working towards that already?
Well, I mean, the line is front page terrorists embarrassing our heritage, clique, crew, or regiment. And when I wrote that with the idea, because a lot of people don't know, the song is actually, I love New York. Let me say that first off. I obviously have a New York hat on. I'm so Chicago now. Everybody knows that's me 100%. But I really love New York, and I got a really good vibe from them. And one of my favorite movies is actually called Paid in Full. And the storyline of Smile is actually detailing the main character's life.
Okay.
And he's somewhat of what a lot of people would call a conscious gangster. He has a mindset, he doesn't want to hurt anybody, but, he is into making money and he is into living this life fast, and that's just the point that he's going through. But I wrote that from a perspective of thinking of him and then thinking of another character, Rico, in the movie, that's more of a rowdy, doesn't really care, you know what I'm saying, just likes the money and likes the girls and the cars, and, he's stupid, he's played by Cameron. It's an amazing role, by the way, but I was writing that from his perspective of him living this life in an innocent way,
Sure.
but still doing illegal things.
Right.
And then his partner, Rico, doing some whole other obscene stuff, which is basically him shooting somebody in the party. And he ain't leaving no ambulance, meaning that he got killed. Yeah. And now he's on the front page of the newspaper, and he's embarrassing our clique, crew, or regiment. So your gang, your family, whoever you hang out with, whoever you also associate yourself with is now embarrassed because that's being promoted on the front page to a culture of people that know nothing of your background and know nothing of this story and judge quickly off of words, you know what I'm saying?
Right. In the song Broad Shoulders, you did it with your brother, obviously. You tell the perspective of a father. It's sort of a different perspective than you would normally hear talked about so directly. Where did that inspiration come from?
Well, when I was writing this project, I knew it was going to be a big project, and I wanted it to be extremely relatable to everyone. I wanted everybody to be able to feel it and hear it and feel like they're living it, you know. And I wanted it to be a simple basis that everyone could relate to, because I believe that music is for everyone, no matter your age or race or sex or preference, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So when I was writing it, I was thinking that I had written from my perspective. I had written my first verse from the perspective of what I'm doing, you know, being a kid, you know what I'm saying, trying to be, you know, being a struggling rapper, trying to make it, you know what I'm saying, knowing that I'm here for a purpose, knowing that I have a deeper mission than to just be on MTV and have a couple videos or to be some pop legend. I know that I have things that I actually have to do and people that I have to affect with this. And then the second verse was from Chance's perspective, and he was talking about being a father. And then he was also talking about being an older brother, and he was also talking about me from my perspective of, you know, the head on his shoulders ain't his own. Someone taught him his favorite song. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that was missing for the third verse was a mother and a father's perspective. So I wanted to write from a male and a female's perspective to relate to multiple people. I wanted everybody to really be able to feel like guys and girls, you know what I'm saying? And the only perspective that I could really see and really feel was my father's, and that's pretty much what sparked that.
Okay. Now, the whole album itself, Broad Shoulders, seems to kind of have different themes, you know, love, relationships, and kind of family is another one as well. Did those things just come naturally over time? Was it just, you know, you had all these songs and you wanted, you came up with a few that happened to fit sort of a general theme, or was it a planned themes? You know, were they planned as these need to be heard right in this moment?
Well, the idea was to just make an amazing project.
Okay.
You know, I rarely go into projects and don't have a full plan or don't have a full idea, and all I knew is that I wanted it to be a really big album. I wanted it to be great. I wanted it to sell, not just because of the marketing strategies that we put behind it, but I wanted it to sell because it was actually good music. I didn't want people to feel ripped off if they had to buy it, but I wanted people to feel like they wanted to buy it. And I mean, that's been going great so far. But when I approached this tape, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with it. And I met this producer, Ludlow, that I worked with. That's one of my best, one of my like closest homies now. And he produced the whole project. And we worked for a year. And we probably made a catalog of at least 100 songs. Not all complete, but we found out the certain ones that we wanted to do, and I knew what vibe I wanted to take, and I knew where I wanted to attack my fan base from, and I got a chance to sit back while I worked on the project and see Vic Mensa and Lucky X and my brother and so many other artists, and meet these people and converse with them and talk about their journey and their struggle. And I was able to get an intake on that, you know what I'm saying? So that's a lot about how the project was planned out too.
Okay. Now, Happy Place was the first song on the album. It was a single that was released. A music video kind of blew up. And it was a different type of song, faster tempo. It kind of had this like breakdown of sorts. Second verse, you know, very fast, fun to rap to. What is that song based on? It seems sort of like a puppy love phase of maybe a relationship, or just like a hookup. I mean, what was that song centered around?
You know what I'm saying? The thing that's always funny is just like as an artist, you know, I always try to leave my listeners room to wonder, because we never want to be too exact, because then there's no room for the imagination of the listener. But with Happy Place, I really wanted it to just be something that could be fun to go out to. You know, I wanted it to also be something. I wanted it to be a song that you could play in a party and you could dance to, but I also wanted it to be a song that you could play in the shower and you could sing to. You know what I'm saying? And it's very rare that you find those mixed together. And I really just spent a lot of time on it, and just thought about my past experiences of, you know, going out and hanging out with friends, and, you know, what my high school experience and what my experience is now, and just growing up in the Chicago scene and just keeping it 100 and making it music that everyone can relate to, whether you're young, you know what I'm saying, you'll love the chorus or you'll love the slow singing that we got Brill doing.
Right.
You know.
Okay. Now, obviously, you've put out a lot of music, mainstream music, The Taylor Bennett Show, freshman year, first semester, and now you have this album, Broad Shoulders. Obviously, one of Chicago's nicknames is, you know, City of Broad Shoulders. So what does that mean, the name mean to you?
Well, the nickname for Chicago is the city of broad shoulders, obviously, and that was one of the big reasons. But another reason was just, I felt like, this is my third project and my first album that I'm putting out because freshman year, first semester, actually, we didn't put that out. That was actually leaked music. It was like 4 kind of unmastered, shaky tracks, and they really picked up, and a lot of blogs picked them up. So, I mean, the only right thing to do would be to throw them on a SoundCloud. So when I was coming forth to this project, I looked at it as, like I said, my third project and my first album, and I wanted it to be just really different. I wanted it to be just really dope, and I was getting older, and I knew this was going to be something that was going to have to be a step up. I knew this was going to have to be my acid rap, or this was going to have to be my OD, like, you know what I'm saying? I knew this was going to have to be my Marshall Mathers EP, you know what I'm saying, when I was approaching this. So I spent more time than I've ever spent on any other project on this project, and put more words and more thought and more experience, and just talk from an overall perspective more.
Right. Obviously, it seems, listening to it, a very like mature perspective. Like I'm really listening to it. I'm like, he seems like he's like late 30s, 40s, like reads newspapers every day. It's very like very somewhat intellectual there. You've obviously experienced a lifetime of concerts, meeting very cool people that most people never have a chance to meet. Going to the White House,
Yeah.
Your dad obviously being involved, knowing Obama as he's come up from state senate, U.S. Senate to president, and you've seen your brother take this rare but independent route,
Right.
all the way to the top, being the first artist to play SNL. Do you feel like you're only like 19 years old? Is that sometimes just kind of crazy that you're?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, since I started making music, since I was like, I mean, I don't want to say making music. I've been making music for a long time, but since I started actually, like getting big, and I put out like songs like "Rolling with the Gods" and stuff like that, and I was around like 17, 16. I used to forget my age all the time. Like I used to, because it was just not a thing. You know what I'm saying? You go to clubs, you go to parties, you go to meetings, you go to, what I'm saying? You're meeting all these people, and it's not about how old you are, it's about the manner and how you carry yourself. And I think my father and my mom did a great job with me and my brother of raising us to, be some very reasonable young men. So I've always gotten very good reception and respect from, others.
Right. So. It obviously shows when you release something. There's the support of the whole city, basically, goes your way.
Yeah, it's so much love.
But I guess talking about Chicago's hip hop scene in general, you're, I believe, featured on Cole Bennett's documentary, The Culture, coming out relatively soon. And I guess what changes have you seen in that hip hop scene in Chicago over the past few years?
It's crazy. That's a big question. Chicago is just, it's amazed me. It's something that we always knew was possible, but we didn't anticipate it happening. I've seen so much more than what we used to get the shed light of, which was drill, Chicago, blah 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 blah.
Right.
And then there's a couple other artists that are doing some shit. It's like, damn, Chance the Rapper just performed on Saturday Night Live. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, this. And for me, that's my older brother, so I see it, and a lot of these other artists are close, you know what I'm saying? I would even consider them family. So for me, it's like I've been seeing this for so long that I'm not really surprised by it, but people are now saying, they're like, wait a minute, the first independent artist to perform on Saturday Night Live, that's way bigger than Chicago. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because there's so many different fan bases, there's so many groups of people that you can tap into as an artist or as a business. So to be trying to, you're always affecting somebody different. Every single time you do something, you're touching somebody, But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just, Chicago has just literally changed. It's become, there's so many different stores. You got leaders, you got Juggernaut, you got artists like Lil Herb, Lil Bibby, Famous Dex, Morocco Brown, Vic Mensa, Chance, Mick Jenkins, Saba, Logan, Hurt Everybody, Tink, Dreezy, King Louie, Spinzo, obviously Keith, Dirk, Reese. It's like it literally doesn't stop. And you know what I'm saying? I feel bad because I'm missing people right now. Like, like there's so many people here, and we've grown so much as a city and as a culture. And I always believed that the only thing that was missing from Chicago is an industry in itself. Atlanta as an industry, and California as an industry, and they have labels there, and Chicago, we're really missing that, and we don't really have that. And I used to see it as a disadvantage, but as we've worked and as we've come farther along, I can tell that it's an advantage, and we're making our own industry, and we're going crazy, and we're realizing we can monetize our own videos and do just all types of things without labels. And if we had labels, we wouldn't have known. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it's just growing, and it's just about to be a whole nother couple years of us asking, like, so how do you think Chicago's changed? Because it's just going to be
It's always going to be So you're managing Morocco Brown now. What is management like? I mean, for people that don't know, they're like, okay, they're I'm sure there's labels that would love to sign these guys. They're selling out shows. You're putting out an album. You're on Rolling Stone. Like, how do you do that without a label? What is it like to manage as an independent?
My thing is that, what I'm saying, I want to say that, like, I'm definitely a businessman. I went to Rolling Stones with, like a suit and tie, what I'm saying? We went to Vibe, we've gone to all these places. We do nothing but respect, what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I think it really just comes down to being a hustler, what I'm saying? Being able to be out there and being able to get it, and knowing, what I'm saying? If you can't get it one place, you can go somewhere else and get it, what I'm saying? And that's always been a motto that I've lived by. And with this whole project, I'm shooting a short film. We're using like 3 red cams at a time. We're doing things. We're shooting videos with, equipment and recording at studios. Excuse me. We're Rolling Stones and Diana Ross, and people have, spent, years, and we're getting in these places, and we're really just making it work, and we're getting these connections. The whole project was dropped by nobody else besides Rolling Stone. Like, I'm like booked with Kara Lewis. She's like one of the #1 booking agents in the world. We basically do our own PR. We got my guy CJ out in LA. But I mean, besides him, that's really it. Shout out to Lauren Nasra from Complex. She's been working with us a lot. We're getting a lot of recognition, and people just really love the music. And, it's hard, it's difficult, it's not easy. But, if you have the respect and you have the A game and you have the mindset to go get it, nothing's impossible. You know what I'm saying? And working with Morocco Brown, I think, if anything, that's all he's proved. I mean, we got Vacant, that's only 25,000 views short of 100,000. He's about to be a sophomore in college. He's still doing the school thing. He's performing at my show. He's bringing people out. They're screaming. You know what I'm saying? He's working on a video. We just recorded something with Logan from 1636 from Fail Mob. I'm trying to get him in the studio with her and everybody. And I mean, he's just on a roll. I believe he's a great artist. And I mean, we got me, as as an independent artist. I got Bennett Entertainment. That's my LLC. We're running it as if it wasn't a label. I executively produced the whole project, Broad Shoulders. If you go to iTunes and you look at who it was published by, or anything like that, you'll see Bennett Entertainment. And to be 19 and to be making moves, and I was just on a call with Atlantic like 2 hours ago. To be talking to label. It's crazy. So I mean, it's hard. It's not an easy situation, but we make it work because we know that this is what was made for us, and we're just out here to go get it.
Right. Last question. Obviously, new year. Just have to ask, what should fans expect from you in 2016? Obviously, you mentioned the kind of the film before, but any other things that stand out?
I'm working on a lot of new music. I got a lot of songs that I didn't put out. I'm working with a lot of artists. I was just in the studio with her and everybody. I was just on the phone with Chuck English. I was just having a conversation with SZA. I was talking to Rory the other day about collaborating. But I mean, just on my solo work, I really think that I have a lot of songs that I want to put out, and I'm going to put out a couple singles, but I really want to give time for Broad Shoulders to grow on people, because I do believe it's a classic tape. And I believe that the longer people have to actually listen and sit down and understand and comprehend it, they'll, it'll grow. When I did my show at Lincoln Hall, they were screaming to the top of their lungs all the lyrics. And that's an amazing feeling, because I've sold out shows before, and you have people in the crowd that love some songs. You have people that don't love every word, every song, and that's love, So I want to keep that going. I want to bring that to a way bigger audience and a way bigger platform. And I think that this year, Bennett Entertainment is gonna gonna make a lot of moves.
Absolutely. Well, Taylor, thanks so much again.
Thank
Taylor
you so
Bennett
much,
here.
man.
Broad Shoulders. Album is out. iTunes, Spotify, pretty much anywhere.
Every platform.
Any platform.
Get it
So,
wherever, right?
yeah, man, thanks so much.
Thanks, man. No, I
Appreciate
appreciate
it.
you. Thanks for having me on, guys.